Materials, that's right, a lot of numbers.
All right. Kirk, he's right here. Kirk in there?
Yeah.
This time I'd like to go ahead and call an order.
Please silence all cell phones.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
The 2026 budget hearing, day one. If you would silence any electronic devices.
Yes, sir,
I
boss.
appreciate it. Pledge of Allegiance. George, would you lead us in the pledge, please, sir?
Sir. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council log in attendance. We're good. All right, let me just, before we get started real quick, I just want to make a little comment here. Tonight's meeting is for information purposes only, no public comments, but you can do public comments at the budget approval meeting on December 10th, 2025, at the council meeting on December 10th. Okay, with that, Chance, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you so you can get us going.
I'm assuming I need his mic on for the recording. Okay, thought so. All right. So yeah, that time of year again, so I'll go ahead and start to get kicked off day one. You have your slides in front of you. This is going to follow day one. Tomorrow you'll get the day two slides. They're the same stuff as it's in your book that you got. There are a few changes that have been made, just stuff that I found going through it. But I'll obviously point that out when we get to those moments. As always, a few themes that you'll see throughout all of these budgets. We built in a 5% cost of living raise, same as last year. And then I had already mentioned this at the budget meeting, but we've been, council meeting, excuse me, we built in a 10% increase to insurance. Parochial retirement employer portion is going to stay at 11%, same as last year. You'll see that in pretty much every budget. But that's it. I don't know. There's your schedule up there. Museum is first and down here. Tackle it best I can. All right, so the museum, they are funded by 2 mills. They're not getting any mills rolled back this year. So if you recall the way they presented, and I believe their auditors asked them to do this, they presented the 780, the full mill unadjusted, and then account for the adjustment and the expenses. So the difference you'll see in our budgets, we already write off the 5% or that it goes to retirement systems or whatnot. But they do it at 780, so that's why you'll see that number be different than the ones you see in some of my budgets. Just going through the collecting 1.5 from the mills, and here's your other revenues down below. You got the interest earning of 50,000, bringing that up from 40 of last year. Small decrease to their fees and charges. Pretty consistent. Their advertising reimbursements going down to 10. So you got an overall revenue of 1.67 million, slight decrease from last year. From that 1.76 budget and 1.72 estimated to collect this year. A large portion of that being the ad valorem. This ad valorem, I guess I should have mentioned this off the top, went down from last year. So you'll be taking a little less revenue per mill than 2025. All right, disbursements. So start at the top, their salaries, they're coming in a little under budget, which is good. They are requesting to move 2 part-timers to full-time at 796. And I will let Miss Angelique Baton take over. She's just
Perfect time.
locked in.
Perfect time.
Perfect time.
I can make it, guys. Sorry, we had a Rotary golf tournament today. I had to take it back.
God put that golf
All right, so I got your revenues. Unless there's anything you want to touch on, I covered your revenues. If you want to pick up, I'm at line 1, salaries and wages.
All
Talking
right.
about the 2 part-timers going full time.
Yep, we have 2 part-timers. Our maintenance guy that I'm going to be moving up to full-time. He's been doing an outstanding job, and then kind of shuffling on the front line. So one of our part-time educators is going to be moving up to full-time next year on that one. Most of the categories are pretty much the same. Sugarfest we're bringing down a little bit this coming year. This past year was our 30th anniversary, so we did a little bit bigger. Also coming down are improvements. We just finished in this calendar year the camera upgrade, which had been a few years in the making, and the generator installation. So those are the big things that happened this year, and we have a few things planned for next year. Upgrades and lighting on the juke joint and a shed over that sugar tesh that's on the side. Acquisition of equipment. We've got some new computers, a video kiosk, and website header and licenses, which is
Yeah,
something
that's
everybody's
from,
gonna have to
IT.
do. But anyway, any questions?
What is advertising dues and subscriptions?
So anywhere where we advertise for the museum is the first thing in there. So like in the Advocate or Country Roads or on the radio. Dues are like member organizations. So we're a member of the American Association of State and Local History, the different organizations, genealogy like related things, and subscriptions like the Louisiana Historical Association comes with a publication. Things like that would be the subscription.
You'll see that, the ad dues and subscriptions across pretty much every budget, that line item. And it's all same thing, anything for the advocate, so if it's specific to that department, it gets coded to them.
Do we get close to 50 grand in that subject? Because we're under budget by like 50 grand in fees, dues, and subscriptions. I just didn't know if that's like better served in another line item.
Are you talking about for museum here?
Am I
Showing-
doing the right thing?
I'm showing 55 budgeted, estimating 55 to come in. Previous year, it looked like they
Previous year actuals 20.
had, 5,000.
That's right.
I'd have to go, we don't have access to the accounting. so
Everything
I'd-
24 was super low.
I'd have to
Yeah.
request to get in to see.
What do you mean?
I feel
Everything on
like
the
something's-
whole,
Yeah, the
the whole
24
left line
column.
item with 54,
Oh, yeah, I
1,400.
see
I think
that.
that's typos, huh?
Yeah,
It
that
must
looks
be
like
the-
some,
well,
yeah.
I think that's all.
No, you
a bunch
only
of
spent
typos. That's what I was about to
I'll
ask.
have to go back and look,
The
because that
disbursements
does
was
look low. We
1.3.
usually are right around 50 in that category.
It could be as simple as just getting the typos, but, like I said, they aren't on our accounting system, so I can't see it. I have to go request it.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
just one other it's minor change. If you look at the beginning fund balance and the ending fund balance, and your revenues and your disbursements are exactly the same, I know they are $500 difference, but mistake. I thought you might not have picked up a 500, but there is a 500. Okay, I see it. Never mind.
Yeah, just check it. Like the maintenance, property and equipment was 1866, and then it's 45, 45, 35.
That I could see varying or
Yeah.
fluctuating depending on if you have a good year or a bad year, but
But
something like advertising dues, subscription, that should be pretty set, I would think, unless you're all of
Yeah,
a
for the
sudden
most part.
advertising.
I
in
mean, if
more
you go up
places.
to utilities expense, that's 2355, and it goes to 25,000 next year.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's probably.
The big,
typo, I think.
Probably
the
some
glaring
typo.
number, the glaring number is the $400,000 in underspend.
Yeah, I think it's typos.
Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
with,
Check that, Chance.
Yeah,
with their accountant and see if that was a typo, as it got
I
sent
think
over.
so.
Simple.
Yeah, I was going back and forth on those.
Yep, so overall in their budget, break even pretty much, besides $500 budgeted for 2026. And then we'll look into those two line items. I'll have an answer to you before
got a million in the bank,
before the
so
vote,
good.
honestly.
we'll check that whole column.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you.
We're
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so you're gonna go, this is gonna be the Tourist Center Operating Fund. Kathy couldn't be here, I'm gonna take this one a little bit. And also, if you have any questions, Adrian's on the board, and I believe Kenny's on the board. They've already heard this, it was approved by their board back in September. So your Tourist Center Fund, majority of their revenue comes from a hotel motel tax. You'll also see this on the sales tax budget. It's collected and then remitted, much like our sales tax income that you see on other budgets. Couple notes, you got your interest income coming in at 79,000 budgeted 50 and 122,000 budgeted 10. They're bringing them down to 50 and 75. It probably won't be that much, so I think you'll actually end up with more when you do 2026 actuals. I think it'll end up coming above the 50 and probably above that 75. They are cutting rates, the Fed is, but I think you're still going to be a little more than those, just based off of what I think. So you have your conference center income, 200,000 budgeted for 25, estimating that for 25, and then also rebudgeting that for 26. The transfer from reserve state enterprise funds, this is money that we get, we being the parish, it's deposited to us, and then we just remit it to to the tourist center. It's about $515,000 a year. As you can see, we had a bigger year in 2024, but I want to say that 515 numbers, that should be, and we get it in October. I was hoping to have it before this meeting so we could have a definite, but we're still waiting on it. So looking at their total revenue, you got 1.586 million budgeted, coming in at 1.610, and then requesting again 1.582, so pretty consistent there from the tourist center. And then looking at their expenses, so no crazy changes here. You're keeping your contingencies, your ad dues and subscriptions, going 23,000 up from 17. Capital outlay, I know that 328, they had to do some foundation repairs to the tourism center. So that's why that number's a little inflated above the 200. Let's see. Advertising coming in at the 200, no crazy changes. So you're looking at their total fund A, budget at 711, coming in at 750. Again, a majority of that is that 328 in capital outlays that they had to do for the foundation repair and some concrete in the parking lot was another thing they had to do. Budget 704 for 2026. Keep moving down to their wages and salaries. Budget 475, coming in at 362, and budget
How many employees they have?
You'd have to ask Adrian them.
Five.
And then budget 494 for 2026, increase in their related benefits to 10,000 up from the 6. Utilities and telephone, that goes from 40,000, 45,000 based off of what they're estimating through 2025. Building grounds maintenance, 75, budget 100. You can see in 24, they spent 102, so they bumped that number up, it seems. Insurance, they have insurance, but we have the insurance and we just bill them for it. So 40 came in at 48, so they're bumping that number up, which is smart. Insurance these days never seems to go down for what we're paying for all of our buildings, and this is for their building and a couple vehicles that they have. Moving on to some more expenses. Let's see, they're bumping up their conference center expenses from 200 to 250. They're also bumping up their audit, accounting, and bank charges from the 80,000 and 98. You can see in 24 they spent about 91,000. Leased items going to 18,000. I'm assuming based off of what they leased in 2025. So looking at your total funds, total expenses, excuse me. So the general fund B, you got the 1.138, came in under budget there, and budgeted 1.294 for 2026. It brings your grand total disbursements at budgeting 1.849 million, coming in at 17, estimating coming in at 17, and budgeting 1998 for 2026. So overall, if you're looking at your fund balance budgeting for 2026, decreasing a little bit by about, I'd say, about 400,000 or so, a little over 400,000. And so that's the tourism. Again, they're a component unit of us, not ran through our accounting system. So I don't have all the answers for that for how their accounting is. But again, if you have any specifics, Adrian and Kenny sit on that board. They may be able to help you out with any of that. Questions? Okay. Tourist reserve, this is where I mentioned, this is where we deposit the state money that comes in and it's turned around and remitted right back to the tourism, tourist commission. It used to pay off a loan. You can see that transferred to Fund 27 sinking. That fund's paid off now, so all the funds that we receive from the state go directly to the tourist commission, and you don't have to pay that loan off anymore. Okay. Library. She's not here. Again, do my best with not handling their accounting system, but looking at their budget again, Avalorum, they're another one who budget the 780 instead of the 740 with the write-off. So looking at their revenues, you got 3.116 million. I believe the library is 4.1 mils collected. They're going to be the same for 2026. State shared revenue, 60,000, coming in at about 53,000 for 25, so they're rebudgeting that same amount, which is a fair number there. Interest earnings, budgeted 80, coming in around 115,000 estimated for 2025. They're rebudgeting 80. It's conservative rebudget, and then your total revenues for 2025, you budgeted 2.9, coming in over budget at 3.192, and then revenues for 2026 coming in at 3.2 million, 3.27.
What is that gifts right there? $3, $100, $51.
Gifts, so they had that little gift shop in the front. That would be my assumption for the gifts.
Yeah. Forget I'm asking you and not her.
Okay, and then moving down to their salaries, so they budgeted 1.295, coming in about 1.242 for 2025, and then with the built-in 5% increase, they got the 1391236 budget for 2026. Employee benefits, this is going to be all their FICA, Medicare, and retirement, and I believe they also put their insurances here as well. So you got budgeted 436, coming in a little under at 404, budgeting 496 for 2026. Get some operating services, 535, coming in at 483, budgeting 563 for 2026. Books, obviously, books, library, this was for that expense. Budget 203, coming in at 160, so they actually bumped that number down a good bit to 175 going into 2026. And then if you look at a little toward the bottom, their capital expenditures. So their capital expenditures, budgeting 185 for 2025, estimating to come in at 60. So obviously they get to all the projects they expected. So I assume they rolled some of those into 235,000 for 2026 capital projects. You can see that 796 from 24. That was for the furnishing and construction of the new library on the south end.
Jason, was 2024 the first full year of operation of the South Branch of the library?
I think you're right. I think you're right.
25 is the first full year?
25 is. I think we opened in like April or March of 2024, I think.
Would we not have seen an increase in operating services from like 2024 numbers to estimated 2025 numbers with a new library, or am I crazy?
I think Brady, I'm gonna try to answer this best I can. She didn't do if any, maybe a little bit, not much, additional staffing. She moved staffing from one to the other, from the north to the south.
But just to keep the lights on, you would think it costs money, right? I mean, operating.
I don't know about the rest of that. I thought you were talking about salaries.
No, the operating services.
Yeah, like actuals in 2024,
525.
525, and
Yeah,
we're
I
coming
see
in
what-
under for the first full year of operation.
Yeah, I see what you're
Operating
saying.
services.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, that's a good thing, but
Yeah, no, I agree.
it doesn't seem right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to make sure that we, I guess, accommodated the potential increase in OpEx with a new South Branch. But if it's all accommodated for, then
I
sounds
wish
good.
she was here.
And just remember, a portion of that fund balance is restricted for later.
Right.
Yeah.
The 5.780 is actually, it has 1 million in there that you can't touch.
Right.
So it's really, $1 million less, but it's in there, it just can't be touched.
Yeah. And so just to wrap it up, looking at your revenues and your expenses for estimated 25, increased the fund balance from 4.9 to 5.6. And like y'all said, $1.9 million of that is $1,097,000 is for the Landry Fund, and then budgeting for 2026, the beginning fund balance increasing just slightly from 5.6 million 32 to 5.780.
Did you say what the 235 in capital was for?
Yeah, so we really got like 4.
No, she was supposed to be here.
Yeah,
She
she-
did all that, so she didn't send me
I
that.
can't remember. I can't remember, Brady. It's something with
Oh, yeah,
the current library.
Yeah.
On the north side, they're doing a lot of upgrading renovations in the
Gotcha.
North Library.
All right, public utilities.
You wanna take that 2 chance? Need a break?
Man. Hey, don't worry, I have notes on mine.
Okay. I've also got Brian here with us, y'all, our utilities accountant, who sat in and participated in putting this budget together. She is a fantastic asset to us and certainly to me. So she's she can answer just about any of this that I have laid out here before you. But she's really progressing well within the department. So we can jump right into operating revenue. And of course, we're broken down into operating revenue, gas, water, sewer. Each one of those categories, have their own independent sections there. So starting with grant income, and I won't hit every single one of the lines, but obviously the bigger ones. We're moving that to we're actually keeping it to 195. Those are what we call smaller state grants, the CWEF for water and LGAP for basically some gas and possibly some sewer, depending on what we have. Is projecting 71.5. We do have one project that is going on right now, so that 71.5 is that you see that is going to move up. So that constitutes grant funding. The garbage income that stays a constant number each year. Service charges, we're actually moving that down from 35 to 25. Capital area groundwater charges, again, that's the pass-through charges that we charge each one of our individual customers, that we turn around and send it into capital area groundwater, and we're projecting that at 125. Council assist, that's the council gives us a check generally at the end of each year. That's again a constant number. The next big number, the council, that 430,000 represents interest on that was left in the ARPA fund. Chance transferred that over to us, and that's going to basically go to help offset the arena well number 2.
Yeah, and real quick on that, so you'll see this in the ARPA fund that comes up in a little bit, but we've fully expensed all the principal of the ARPA funds throughout the projects we've done, and the last one being arena well number 2. And if you remember when we started the arena well number 2 and accepted bids, we presented that obviously the ARPA would cover as much as it could with its principal and then and interest, and then utilities would take over the rest. So 430 is what we accrued on that account over the 3-4 years we had those ARPA funds. So like I said, sent that, and that offsets some cost for the arena well that you'll see at the bottom of Adrian's utility budget. But so that's the story on that one.
Where are we at with this capital area groundwater since that all changed, October 1st? Right. So basically, we got the first correspondence, if you will, from DNR just last week. I mean, we have third quarter. We pay that quarterly, right? So we've got the third quarter. The collections are due by the end of October. So that's the August. July, August, September is due. So we finally got some guidance. We hadn't heard anything from anybody about what's the status, what they do with this. Well, apparently DNR is telling us to continue to collect this. The pumpage fees continue to, at the 65 per million gallons pumped. Just still send a check in. Just send it to a different, instead of capital groundwater, we're sending it to DNR.
Well,
That's,
not to interrupt you, Adrian, but we tried, and
then
the guy was sick and couldn't meet with us, and continues to kind of stonewall us. And
We have some, I think we probably need to approach them because we have
we
a
did.
different agency, that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I see what you're
stuff
saying.
like that, instead of not capital area groundwater no more, and they, was it Department of Natural Resources, something like that?
Or they disband?
DNR.
Or they disband?
Again, we paying way more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
they
it's
still
moved-
have a director and a little staff.
Yeah.
I would just like to know, I can assume the board, I'm sure the board is dissolved. I mean,
I think it
the
is.
board under DNR, but Right.
Yeah, except the director.
Except the director, but I
Who
think
we
y'all know
reached out to.
what his salary is. And again, very little guidance, very little literature, very little notice from just, the week before that it's due, they're saying, oh, keep sending, keep collecting and keep sending the
Who
checks.
signed that? Who signed that notice? The you signed that?
Would surprise me in the least, but the director of DNR. So, look, I spoke with the utilities director from West River Solutions LLC. They had the same concerns we did. As a matter of fact, she asked me if I'd want to sit in on a call because they're gonna speak to Brett Furr. If y'all remember, Brett Furr is the attorney from Keene Miller, and Brett just want to ask him. They just want to ask him because Baton Rouge is of course they won their suit, so they're paying a reduced rate. They're still paying it, but they're paying a reduced rate. So I think she just wants to ask him about the constitutionality of us continuing to pay the 65 cent and what his thoughts are on this and what ramifications are out there. So yeah, I'd love to sit in on that call, and I will sit in on that call.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, exactly. So picking up penalties are pretty consistent, just about the same. Bumping that down just a tad. Miscellaneous income is just that, miscellaneous income. So that's, you see, total administration revenue. We're looking at about 500,000. They're projecting this at again 778,000, but that's with the big one-time interest payment, deposit from Chance. So moving on to revenue from gas sales. We're moving, and that's residential gas sales. We budgeted last year $2.6 million. We moved that up to $2.7 million. Currently, I actually ran a report this morning. We're actually on residential. We're at $2.3 million, and we've got 3 months left. So we ought to well exceed that $2.7 million roughly on residential sales. Gas industrial, same thing there. We're bumping that up because even though the system is projecting we finish at 548, we certainly think we're going to come out higher than that because the cooler it gets these last 3 months, obviously sales pick up and what have you. So we feel like 700,000 is a good conservative number there.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, we have to obviously present these budgets to you in hand. I gave it to you a month ago on at that meeting. So we run the projection as close, as far along as possible. I have to start this process in August. So I kind of have to, you got to run it with only about 8 months worth of data. So you try your best to get it. Like you said, some of those numbers are actually coming in higher than we expected, which is good.
Gas extension charges, again, pretty consistent number. I asked for 75, we're gonna keep it at 75. There's the total revenue versus expenses. We're projecting just a little more than 25, 3,275,000 to 3,475,000 on gas revenue. Underwater, that's a little small category. Honor permits, keep that at 400. And again, we're gonna finish somewhere around that. Water sales, it's the system is projecting, 2 million. We should hit that somewhere between 2.3 million and 2.4 million. We just kind of split the middle at 2.2 million. Industrial water sales, we budgeted in 25. We budgeted 700. System is projecting 952. We're going to leave it at 950. I think that's a good conservative number as well. Extension and connection charges, 100,000. Again, this is showing 58,560. That'll be. We feel like it's going to finish closer to that 80,000 number on connections and services. So there's your total water revenue, 3 million 2 in 25. We're going with 3 million, just shade of it in 2026. Sewer connection fees, again, we're leaving that number the same. Sewer inspection, same thing there. Sewer income, we're bumping that down just a tad because I think we moved it up to the 1 million last year. Probably should have left it where it was. It was at 800,000, so we're gonna go back to the original, the 800,000, because that's a fairly consistent number. Total sewer revenue, million, we're showing at 802,500, which brings everything, our total operating revenue, 2025 was just a shade over 8 million, and again, we're showing it just a shade over at 400. Okay. Disbursements. This is all our expenditures. Again, there's your, obviously starting with salaries. We budgeted $2,067,000 in 25 with the 5% built in that we're showing $2,255,570. And again, just going down, following these numbers. I'm not gonna hit every single one of these. These are personal services numbers. Chance's got the increase built in there on hospitalization insurance. Obviously, can't control that. Employee bonds, legal notices, telephone expenses, equipment rentals, service contracts, what have you, liability insurance. A lot of this stuff we're keeping the same. So some of it we moved down. As you can see, vehicle insurance, we bumped it up just a tad from 25 to 35. Workman's comp, obviously, that's going up. That doesn't ever seem to go down. Unemployment taxes, that's an insignificant number, basically. Professional fees, we're dropping that from 250 to 210. And again, there's got the air, groundwater, there's our number expenses there. Third-party billing, we actually, Bree, why do we bump it down to 16? We just reclassified the, from 30 to 16
Yeah,
on third-party billing? Because we got third-party billing and we got billing expense. Yeah.
Where we were going, had to billing expense.
Right.
We should have been at third party.
Okay. All right. So maintenance of property, keeping that the same. Vehicle expenses and repairs, roughly the same, moving it down 10. Meter system and repair, we had that at 100, and we're way down. We got at basically 21,000, so we're reduced that from 100 to 30. We dropped that number down, as did we did tools and supplies. We had it at 100, projecting to come in at about 61,000, so we moved that to 70, reduced that number as well.
Yeah, and real quick on the meter and system repair, the reason it was bumped down, so it's a coding thing more than anything. So each, I'll call them department, but sewer and water and gas, you're about to see, they all have their own little subsets of expenses. They have their own codes for like sewer repair or sewer upgrades or water upgrades. So they get coded there, and they don't get coded to this administration one. So it takes away from confusion for their AP department as far as where do we code it, because this one just kind of, as you can see, you budget 100 and you only had about 20,000 in
Right.
there. That's just more of a coding issue than anything. So that's why you bump that number down, because like I said, the subset expenses have their own codes for these things.
Tools
Yeah,
and
total
supplies,
supplies as well.
Office supplies, budgeted at 20, they're projected to finish right around 10, so we dropped that. We felt like we could drop that to 15. Same thing, exactly what Chance just said on chemicals. You're not gonna see it under administration, but you're gonna see it in the subset numbers. Clothing uniform, 17, we felt like we could drop that to 85. We went to a little bit more of a uniform, we changed our uniform policy, and we feel like we're able to manage that much better.
Yeah, and you'll notice in 25, this is across all of the budgets, we had increased for the uniforms. We went to a uniform policy where we bought the employees the uniforms, so we have everyone can identify a parish worker. This year the expense won't be so great because we're not doing the bulk order. So you'll see that across pretty much every budget.
How often are y'all gonna buy uniforms? Is that gonna be a yearly,
Yeah.
It will be, but going forward, it'll just be like replacement. So you won't have the full initial like you did last year, the full initial amount. Each year now, we'll replace like 2 shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like two for the field guys, and then your office people. Like I don't need 2 more
Right.
additional polos.
it's not the wear and tear?
So you'll see, like I said, across the board, that expense be less in 26.
What's going back up to salaries from projected 1.7 to going to 2.2, that's like 400,000 different?
Yeah. So when you look at a budget, it's budgeting for all the positions, and they had some vacancies throughout the year, so that's why you see the number come down. The budget number, if you actually want to see the increase, it's budget 25 to budget 26, because you budget the full positions, and the increase is built off of that. So we may have a vacancy of a maintenance worker 3, you have to take that salary
Right.
and budget and increase
Budget
off
for
of
it.
that for the 26.
There was 3 vacancies.
Yeah, 3.
In there, and one of them was utility 3, which is a higher.
So,
I have a question.
Sure.
So that, and I know you just mentioned this, Chance, that meter and system repair, so that's not like in relation to the smart meters that we had installed, with that cost going down?
No,
this
so
is-
it's simply like a coding thing. So you'll see this. A good example is going to be like our roads or drainage. We have a vehicle equipment repairs and then like a vehicle repair code as well. One's supposed to be in-house and one's supposed to be a third party, right? Well, a lot of times, just because it's hard for our accounting department, accounts payable department, know exactly which one happened where, or what supplies are for what, it'll all get coded to one, when really it all should just be packaged into one code for simplicity. So what I'm saying with this one, so you have a little bit of expense there, but the majority of the system, meter and system repairs you're about to see in the water systems code and the sewer systems code, which you're gonna see in a subset in a second. Yeah, it's just a coding thing.
So Chance, should the 26 requested budget for salaries be the 25 budget times 5%?
No, so it's not as simple as that. So you may have somebody who retires, you may have somebody, who was longer in their longevity, and they may leave, so that now that position, say it's a utility worker 2, you had a guy who was here 20
goes
years.
back to that.
It goes
that
back
level.
Yeah, you start back at
Yeah,
step
I
back,
got you.
a little wiggle room for experience, obviously, but no, so
Yeah.
it's not as simple as
Simple.
just taking 5%.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Sounds
and you have to factor in our longevities as
Yep.
well.
Appreciate it.
all right, continuing on with audit, again, we had a budget of 60, came in at, and that's that's actually a fixed number, came in at 51, so we just, we just set it at 52. Judgments and damages, leaving that at 20 as well. Permit fees, again, let's see, permit fees, 400, again, for administration, left that miscellaneous expenses. It was at 10, looks like it's gonna come in right around 5, so we felt like we could drop that to 5. Bad debts and NSF write-offs, pretty much we felt like we could drop, let's see, did we put on a number?
Yeah, and so the bad debts, and Red can probably, Brianne can probably explain it better than anybody. She's been kind of tackling all this.
Yep.
We brought in an accountant to help us with this, because when we switched over to the new system, there's a lot of old inactive carry forward accounts. We had a lot of cleaning up to do. So we were doing a lot of bad debt write-offs in previous years, but we finally got to a place where this buildup of old inactive accounts with deposits here and there, it's all being cleaned up. So that's why that number goes from 35 to 0. Thanks to people like Red and Falkenway. So.
Absolutely. Okay, continuing on with our gas section, again, gas purchases, we had it, and again, that's just a guess, a budget number. We budgeted $1.8 million. Gas, again, we're subject to monthly increases. Rarely does it decrease, but again, we buy gas by a lot every month. Looks like we're going to finish a little higher than that, so we're going to move that to $2,150,000. We feel like that's a good number. Leak survey, that stays pretty consistent. That's a pretty much set figure, as is cathodic protection. Even though it's showing 3,498, they always do the turf node. They always do the cathodic protection generally in the cold. Bass Engineering will do that for us in December. So gas systems, that's basically operating, everything that's in the ground, our metering stations, that everything it sort of takes to run the gas system. We're at 175. Feel like we can drop that just a little bit to 155. OQ, that's operator qualifications, 25,000. We actually moved that up. We increased the number of guys that we were getting OQ'd, so we figured 30,000 is a good number. And there's your total expenses. They were projected at $2,350,000 337, we're gonna move it to, 2,359,000.
Adrian.
For guesses, yep,
On leak survey, we hire outside services to do that?
we do, yeah. Yep. R&R Consultants, they've done leak surveys with it for us for many, many years. It's not like I said, it's not a terribly expensive, I don't know, but they.
That's done at valve stations, or that's done?
Both, yeah, both valve stations, regulated stations. They basically quarter up the parish in 4 different sectors to where they catch it, to where they catch everything in the parish. I say quarter, actually, they take it in a third, to where they hit it. The whole parish is done once every 3 years. Each station is touched, all the services are touched. So, yeah, that's a normal recurring expense.
What's their normal findings? I know that maybe that's not that question that, but
What's that? I'm sorry.
normal findings as far as gas leak.
They'll find something, and of course they turn it into us. They'll find a leak in a meter. They'll find, of course, and and that gets turned into pipeline safety. Pipeline safety checks our records to make sure that that the leak was found. It was fixed, and this is how we fixed it, and this is the report that we had to use to fix it. So it's kind of it's a big paper trail, but I would say a typical leak survey finds maybe 6, 7, 8, possibly 10 leaks in a section of the parish. And again, most of those are on just residential meters, small 275 and 415s. Okay, moving on to water. Electricity expenses. We saw a pretty significant spike there. Again, we budgeted 300. We're going to finish way over that. I say way over. We're going to spend 73,000 over that. So we moved that number up to 375. Again, we obviously have no control over that. Water tower maintenance. That was at 50. We actually we were anticipating 0 costs on that, but we still want to leave about 10,000 in there. We have to do something with all 7 water towers in excellent shape. They've all been serviced and painted within the last 10 years, so we feel that's a good number. Chemicals, 100,000. We're going to come in higher than that 54,103. Again, that's a system generated number, so we wanted to leave that at 100. Water systems as a whole, we budgeted 225. Again, it's showing, it's projecting at 140. We feel that we can drop that to 180 and still have a good conservative number there. So at 675, is total water expenses budgeted. We're going to drop that to 665 on cost. So
What is water system? What is that?
again, it's just basically everything in the ground: wells, towers, meters. Basically everything within the water system.
That's
Maintenance, repairs, right,
That's
water mains.
That's what I was mentioning, that you'd see the subsets of that systems code.
Oh, okay.
So when it's specific to a water issue, should go here. That's the goal.
All right, sewer. Sewer salaries, bumping that up just a tad, as you can see with the increase built in. And then payroll taxes, retirement, Medicare, Medicaid, sewer hospitalization, all that, yada, yada. We're putting a 10% increase on hospitalization. Electricity, again, same story there. We budgeted 130. We're at it's projected as 157, so we're gonna move that to 160. Feel like that'll cover that. Dumpster rentals, pretty insignificant. Went up just a little. We moved that number to 4. Sewer testing, that's a really consistent number. We're gonna leave it at 25. Maintenance of property, again, it is what it is, 15,000. Spending about 75. We want to leave that at 15,000, just contingencies, what have you. Maintenance of equipment, 20 grand. A little higher than that, and that's we've got a side note on that. Sludge remover and repairing blowers at one of the sewer stations. So, but we still feel like that 20 is still a pretty fair number, even with the elevated expenses. Tools and supplies on the sewer, 25. Still want to leave that at 25. Chemicals, 67.5. We're dropping that down to 60. Feel comfortable with that number as well. Sewer expenses as a whole, 75,000. is projecting 65, so we want to leave that at 75 as well. Judgment damages, we moved to general 322.
Yeah, and what that means is we moved it up to 322, the administration on the previous page. We just consolidated into one code again to avoid confusion of coding for the accounts payable. We did the same thing with the audit expense last year, if y'all recall.
So total sewer expenses budgeted 825. We're looking at that about 840. We're asking for 840 in 2026. And as the total operating expenses right there in front of you, 7.6. It's showing 7.2, but our requests come at 8,146,059. All right, these are capital outlay items here, and again, they're pretty self-explanatory. You can see there, 20,000 for cameras, budgeting replacing 2 trucks, 80 grand, 20,000 worth of computers, and again, the computers, that's just a built-in number. We upgrade our computers every year, and we moved that. We went from 10 to 20 on that number. Just the general expenses and IT and equipment, what have you. Capital outlay 85,000 for gas certs and a skid steer mower. What's next? We actually had zero budget in 25. We're putting 50,000 for some additional meters. Capital outlay, water systems, $1,000,003, and we got that blank.
Yeah, so it's expecting to fully expense it by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, that's the water well number 2.
Yeah, so that's the remainder on what's left after what's been paid through ARPA.
Yeah, so we will, and on that note, that well is about, again, they're progressing well. The date of substantial completion is Christmas Eve, December 24th. Not quite, they're doing well. If they don't hit that, they're gonna come in real close to that. So we're doing well on that.
Your gas, or what percentage of your gas needs is that, you think?
Till we really haven't fooled with many. We've only put in 200 or 300 gas certs. We've really been concentrating on putting the water in, because water was paid for by the funds. We actually have to buy the gas certs ourselves. So they're roughly about $100 a piece. So there's the math. What we got 50. What we got for gas? 5,000. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So. Let's see, capital sewer systems, and again, we just put that 50,000 pump replacements. Again, we have about 30 sewer plants. You don't know what's going to happen on any given day with any, especially the package plants, y'all. They're some of these on life support, so we just want to leave that number in there. Capital outlay on the cost. IT share costs, our number is 60,175. I'm sure Chance will explain. All the other departments are going to share that number as well on depending on what they have for IT services.
Yeah, you saw that last year. Last year was the first year. Well, I guess this year, but last year was presented. First year we've done that where we had some cost share in the IT based off of strictly equipment and software, since they support so many departments on our network that use our network, and that's just utilities share of it.
So finishing up with total disbursements, again we budgeted $9,351,894. Projected just over $9 million, and we have $8.5 million projected for on expenses. So that pretty much covers. Yes, that's all we had. That's all we had in terms of budget. Any questions on that? Got one more item to cover with you guys. So, Jason and Chance and I had a discussion earlier today. We figured this was as good a time as any to just to bring you guys up to speed. So, we're in the process. We're undergoing a rate study right now. This is on a rate study on water and sewer, and as you all know, we've got almost $12 million worth of grant funding for sewer projects, sewer and water. The bulk of it sewer. We got 10 million for sewer and about 1.8 on water. As part of this grant funding, they mandate you do that. We have a rate study done. So an outfit, and that, again, we don't pick them. The state assigns us, and we've been assigned a firm, Eisner Amper, and we've been working with them for about 2 months. Again, I credit Bree with a lot of the technical stuff. Just sending them. Basically, we send them all of our financials. We send them our budget, our 25 budget, our 26 proposed budget, our 24 budget, our operating expenses, our current rates, and basically how we operate. And what they do is they come up with a sustainability factor of, I think it's 1.15, and quite simply, are your expenses covering your disbursements? I mean, that you gotta hit that number. You wanna, and you know, have money left over for contingencies and whatnot. So they're probably about 80% done. I can tell you, we feel like with absolute certainty that they are gonna recommend increases. And I say recommend, they're gonna pretty much mandate that we institute the rate, the numbers that they come up with in order for us to maintain this grant funding. I will say this, just a couple of notes. We have not had a sewer rate increase since 2008. We're operating at 2008 levels. Can I tell you what a sewer pump cost in 2008? It does not cost what it costs now. I mean, we just had, our sewer rates are extremely low. Our water rates have gone up $1 on minimums since 2020. So, you know, it's inevitable. I'm quite sure. You know, I don't know what that number is. Again, they're crunching it, but just to give you, I just ran some. Just to give you comparative purpose, and I'm just picking Addis because again, Addis has their own sewer system. West Baton Rouge, and I just use a benchmark number. Again, sewers based on your water consumption. 5,000 gallons. Just pick 5,000 gallons worth of water. 5,000 gallons worth of water will cost you $21.25 in sewer fees for us for West Baton Rouge. 5,000 gallons of water, if you lived in Addis, will cost you $43.25. So more than double. It's just it's just a reality. They have a newer sewer system. Again, they're experienced. They know what pumps cost and what lines cost and replacement costs. So again, we have not increased in many years, and it's time. And we're going to see. We're just going to see what they come back with. So
we anticipate our sewer revenue to double.
Yes. Oh, do we anticipate ours to? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just kind of using that as a just comparative. That's
When would that
again,
take place, the rate change?
Yeah.
But pretty soon. They're saying that I would suspect probably within the next 2 weeks they're gonna come back with numbers, and they're gonna look for us to to put those increases in place probably within 30 days of that. I'm just guessing that number, but they've made known in certain terms that it needs to be. They want to be able to, and I get it too. They want to be able to assure themselves that almost $12 million worth of state funding, that we have the ability to pay for that, and that's how they do it with a rate study. Again, we've been low for quite a while. It's time for an increase, and this rate study is going to determine that where we should be.
Can we wait to increase them until after the November ballot?
Yeah, believe me, we talked about that as well.
But in all honesty, 2008 is not just, I mean, if you think last time you had an increase 2008, that corresponded with the sewer that was in Irwinville in 2008. A rate study was done then, and that's why you had the increase.
Yeah, I agree.
Since
My thing is,
We just don't want to pop anything else on.
No, exactly.
I'm mostly being facetious in that, but my thing is you double your sewer revenue, but your sewer expenses are almost in line with what your current revenue is it not?
Yeah, but it's what you're going to take on. It's what you're going to be taking on with
the consolidated treatment plant.
With the consolidated treatment plant and a new plant and operating it, maintaining it, whatnot. Yeah, it's gonna, that number's going to go sky high.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all look, right now, and again, yeah, look, our residential sewer rates are $10 a month plus $2.25 per 1,000 gallons a month. And I use the 5,000 gallons. 5,000 gallons is $21.25. I mean, that's if you check in any of the surrounding municipalities, I think we're probably significantly, I don't know for sure, but I think we're significantly lower than surrounding municipalities, especially if we're billing sewer at 2007 rates. So, but again, we'll keep y'all apprised. We don't have the numbers yet. We feel like we're gonna probably get that within the next couple of weeks, and stay tuned. So.
Yeah, and just to be clear for both y'all in the video, sales tax is being used to pay the bond that we're doing. This is just simply a requirement that the state requires for you to get the 10 million for the project. These are not fees being increased to pay back the bond. They're not fees being increased to pay for the project itself. This is a requirement by the state to receive $10 million. Actually 11.8 taken water.
I'm glad you re-clarified that, Chance.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Do we have an estimated impact on what the new treatment plant will do to OpEx on an annual basis?
I don't know. I don't think we got a concrete number on that. But essentially, you're talking about consolidating 10 regional sewer package plants into
Right.
one. 10 neighborhood package plants into one regional plant.
I just didn't know
yeah.
if we knew what we anticipate the new annual expense to be for that consolidation.
That consolidation.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the piece that you really don't know, it's hard to put a number on, is the additional cost of the 10 old, out of date, should be past their useful life. What's that cost gonna be to maintain them, to continue to run, if you would have to keep them running? So it's kinda hard to do, like you talk about a cost benefit analysis,
Yeah.
consolidate versus
Shouldn't be
not.
hard to do it all. I feel like we should be able to do that.
Well, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer, trying to keep 10, 30 plus years old sewer treatment facilities running. The cost of that alone.
20 million is what we think it's gonna cost to build?
The new sewer plant?
Yeah.
The project? I think it's
23.1 was the original
23,
estimate.
yeah, projected.
We'll have to see what comes in, obviously, with bids.
Yeah.
And you'll see this tomorrow, but 10 million funded by the grant, 8 million by the
Yep.
bond, and
Yep.
5.1 by us.
Yep.
Cash.
And again, look, we're certainly excited about being able to retire, to 10 of the neighborhood, but I can tell you, we got about 14 more. I mean, we really just, Allen knows, Turf knows. I mean, they deal with those things. Those things have a life expectancy, and they're just, we're getting dinged. We're getting dinged more and more on. Again, we're able to fix it. We're able to maintain it. But it's just like a car. It's just like anything mechanical. I mean, when you got that much water and sewer through it, pumps, lines, everything else that we can change a lot of that. We can maintain it, but eventually, it's those things are gonna outlive their life. Some of them already have.
Theoretically, if we increase the rates based upon what they say they should, that they mandate to us, are we forced to keep them there? Or if we say, okay, after this new treatment plant's built, we look at our annual expenditure, and it comes in less than we're collecting, can we adjust them down?
I don't know. We'd have to ask, like Lou, we'd have to ask.
Not a bad question. I mean,
Because once the funds have been remitted and the project's over and we've met our requirement, I'm assuming that's what you mean?
Yeah, like if our
That'd be
revenues
illegal.
come in higher than.
Yeah, that'd be a legal question more than
annual
anything, or if
expenses
they'd come back behind and say you lowered them, now pay us back 10 million. I don't know. We'd have to get with it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, again, we need to make sure they understand that we're finding it out based on sales tax, not on sewer user base. It seemed like that.
If that be the case, then if it's based on sales tax, then how does the rate go up based on sustainability? It's not sustainable from the standpoint of sewer fees, it's sustainable from the standpoint of sales tax.
Well, the maintenance, to be fair, the maintenance itself would still fall on utilities, and that's what they have to take into account.
And wouldn't you think the maintenance on one new plant would be way less?
Less.
Than what
A brand new plant.
Yeah,
Instead of an increase,
That's
would
my
you be
point.
the opposite for that?
I didn't want,
No,
I
I-
was thinking that, but I didn't say it. You should think the maintenance would be way lower
I'll say.
Yeah.
for one new plant than.
I don't know.
You would think, but, yeah, and again, guys, but I think,
To operate it may be more expensive, but the maintenance every year should be way lower. I would presume.
Yeah, that's the reason to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the,
You got a lot of big.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah, let's wait and see what happens, but I would
Wait and
hope we could adjust it down if that happens.
and again, and we can talk with, with our engineers, I'll ask that question myself, and just, I'll tell them, if the council's interested in knowing what their thoughts is.
We talking about people on fixed income now.
Yeah, we talk about 100% increase, that's gonna go over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt.
maybe not 100%, but whatever the increase is hurts.
Sure.
50.
No doubt.
A lot of people out there living on $1,200 a month, and they tell you when they get a $20 a month increase.
Yeah, it
hurts.
stings. Yeah, it
Or if we could do
stings.
some phased increase.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I asked that, I was told no. That crossed my mind too.
Wonderful. All right.
yeah,
Thanks.
and then, real quick, they got their loan, that's paid by them. The sewer's thinking, that's consistent pretty much every year. And then 5-year outlay, this is required by the home rule charter, that we present this, so this is that. Again, it's nothing set in stone, it's just kind of a wish list, for lack of a better term, you know?
Guesstimations, yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Thank you, Adrian.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right. Fire district. All right, guys, so obviously this is majority funded by a half-cent sales tax. That's where you see the 4.3. So I was looking, the reason it's coming at the 4.6, that 4.3 was too low, and I've actually since gotten with, too low isn't a budget number, gotten with Melanie, and we fixed it going forward for 2026. As you can see, the 4.6, and you're gonna see this across all the sales tax funded funds, that we're gonna be budgeting for pretty much the same type of collections. The way we've been running, they've been pretty consistent. They are probably gonna come in under, a little bit under what we budgeted, but that's why we repeated essentially the same collection next year. So you get your fire rebate from the state. We are bumping that number up. Obviously, you can see in 24 it was 185, 25 it was 193. So we're bringing that up to 185. One quick note to the transfer from the opioid settlement fund, that's 72, that's zero, and it's budgeted for zero next year. Reason being, we just went ahead, because I have to report on this, because we get this money as a settlement, and I have to submit reports on it. It's much simpler, much cleaner, much easier to pay directly out of that fund. That way when I go to my accounting system, I can pull up every expense to report on. So it's not that the money didn't get spent or used for the fire department, specifically EMS and medical supplies, which you'll see on the opioid fund in a little while. It's just spent directly out of there. EMS revenue, so the EMS revenue is coming in better than expected, continues to come in better than expected, excuse me. Actually, just based off the math I did this morning, we got some pretty large collections in. I think it's actually going to be higher than that 1.317 there. The only hang-up that may be is the government shutdown. So the government shutdown, we don't receive the Medicare and Medicare Advantage payments. We will eventually, so it's not like the payments are never coming, it's just going to be delayed. And we average about $30,000 a month on that. So it all depends on how long the government shutdown lasts and how long the delay in receiving those funds are. But even with those not receiving, I still think that 1.317 is easily obtainable.
And so that revenue, that is all from outside of the parish residents?
That is all from, that's all from insurance companies.
And from
and it was
outside
$0 from
Right.
residents of the West River
Residents of
Rouge. We've
West
had very few residents outside the parish that have paid, that got transported, but I'd say 99% are from insurance companies or Medicare.
And is this actual received?
This is estimated. So actual, I was looking at this morning, is 1,090,000 and some change. We have currently collected in this month 124,000 and some change. If you average that 124 out through the end of the year, which we've been consistently around 120 to 130, you come in above that 1.317 that I'm showing there. I was even conservative with my 2026 number as well. And you got to remember, this is an immature year. As far as January and February, we collected I think 50,000 and then 70,000, and then the rest of the months after that, we've averaged well over 100. So imagine a full mature year, you're coming in more like 1.4, 1.45.
Is there a way to quantify actual costs of the ambulance service?
It's tough because it's looped in with the,
Right, it's kind of embedded
It's-
within a whole
it's
service.
all the fire fund, I mean, with your salaries and the vehicle expense for maintaining the ambulance, it's all paid out of the fire fund.
But when we stood this up, it's higher than what we had initially thought
Yeah,
we would generate, right? Which is awesome.
yeah, and it's
Yeah, so the 18,000 in 2024.
yeah, so we
that
started.
was- Right, that's
Yeah.
when we started it.
Yeah, well,
That
and
was
it's,
like
there's a, usually a 30 to 90 day delay before you ever collect
Right.
any money, because you have to submit it
So
to
that was just a
insurance.
little bit when we collected in 24 and then everything.
Yeah, and actually the
Because
delay was longer. And
Before,
once
it
you-
was 0 in, but we didn't.
Yeah, once you're established,
had
the delay
EMS
is
really.
a lot less, so.
What is the percentage of people not having insurance that we transport? Is it, are y'all getting any of that?
That don't have insurance, I wouldn't have that, Butch may,
Like,
but
are we
probably
having a
Insight's our
Set
billing
up that
company.
cost?
Yeah, we can get you some reports. It's very few people that have no insurance at all. And like Chance said, the majority of the people are transport repair services. But we do transport people who are not.
For sure, the ones without insurance probably
And
get
their
dragged by
insurance
somebody.
pays and they pay us their deductible. The majority of the people we have some type of method of payment through the federal programs.
And
Yeah, and
Medicare,
then that's
Medicare,
when-
we don't collect a lot, right? Isn't it a very small amount from state or
Actually-
federally funded?
So Medicare, Medicare and Medicare Advantage, like I was saying,
Medicaid, rather? Is it a
Medicaid's a
amount for
small, it's a
Medicaid?
small
Right.
amount, yeah.
That's right.
I know,
That's right.
Yeah, it's, Medicare is like 30,000 a month, that's the one that's gonna be delayed because of the government shutdown.
Gotcha.
It's not that we're not gonna get it, we're just
So
gonna
we
get
make
it
30,000 a month from Medicare?
average,
Yeah.
average. Yeah. Humana Advantage,
bad.
that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
Through the government. So again, real quick, back to it, that 1.4 budget for 2026, it could even be with a full mature year, the way we've been operating, it could be a little higher than that. Y'all know me, I'm conservative with my revenues. Interest income, budgeted 95,000, coming in at 168. We got a large increase to our CD rate, the fire department has about 500,000, it went from 0.45 to like 3.75. That along with the interest, we've kept great interest rates through our checking account, so that's why you see that increase. So I've gone ahead and bumped that number up. And then you got the 53,000 from workers' comp rebate, budgeted 60 next year. I had budgeted too low for 2025, obviously based off the last 2 years you see there. So that brings your total revenue, budgeted 5.8, coming in about 6.3 and looking at about 6.4 for next year.
Absent sales tax, did we really just see a big dip in the amount of sales
Say that again?
from 24 to this year? Are we just seeing that much less spending throughout the parish?
Yeah, I mean, and if you recall in 24, I mean, that was, I believe it's the record.
Oh, really?
And we had 2 months, very, very large collections through some
But we're probably
projects
gonna
that
end up.
the plants were doing. There's a
Okay.
piece of equipment that got taken,
Depends on
um,
turnaround.
possession here.
No, of course, no, I get it, yeah.
Yeah, the equipment was like millions, and it got taken, possession in West Baton Rouge, so we get it, and so that's why you see that. But no, it was a record year.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
We ought to be
piping.
close to that this year though, huh?
Hmm?
Ought to be close to it this year though.
Budget? Yeah, so you'll, like I said, this one I had budgeted too low to begin with, 4.3, but when you look at our general fund, that those two, and then the jail, we are right there. It all depends on these last 2 months of collections. We could be 30,000 below, 10,000 below,
Well,
we
it's
could be
been-
10,000 above, it all depends.
It's been better in the last month
Yeah.
on our end, for sure.
Um,
sending all that money in?
It's been better. Been getting it.
All right. So looking at our salaries budget. So looking at the top line, let me get my rule so I stay on track here. Looking at the top line, the 1.7 and 98,000 coming in at 2.765. So I've gone ahead and you'll see over in 2026 that I've just combined them because they all are paid out of the department fund. They're firemen, some are firemen / EMS. Butch can explain the operations much better than I can. So you have 39 of those firemen / EMS and 3 what you'll call admin position, administrator, fire protection, and a training officer. You'll see the vacation buyout, that's the amendment you guys approved last meeting. That's at 20,000, and gonna go budget that for 2026 as well. Part-time employees, see budgeted 72, coming in at 60. You got the EMS supervisor, that's that flat 50,000 right there. Contract labor, budgeted 3, coming in at 623. So when we budgeted for 2025, so that's budgeting for a full year, and while you're still hiring to get to that full-time or fully staffed environment. So obviously, if you snap your fingers and January 1st, 2025, we were fully staffed with 39, then yeah, that number, that contract labor would be down at 300, as you see we expect in 2026, because you're not having to supplement those shifts with contractors. You're fully staffed, right? And again, Butch can explain that operationally a lot better than I can.
But if I'm not mistaken, you got 6 that are leading academy in December, would be allowed to go on shift at that time.
Yeah, it's two issues. The staffing of the EMS system, we started off with a lot more part-time medics in the beginning because we were trying to hire full-time. So our contract labor went up, but our full-time labor was less. Now that we have, I think we may be one person short, but we pretty much have full-time paramedics and EMTs to staff 3 ambulances every day in the parish. And we have a host of part-time people that we want. And that's a lot of times that's how we'll get a 4th one up. We cover our relief work. That's one piece. The other piece was we had our vacancies, and our biggest round was 6 people right now that are in the rookie school. They graduate in December. We're fully staffed on the full-time side, but we're having to cover part-time people and overtime to cover those 6 people on duty shifts. So as of December 1st, all of our 6 firefighters on shift and our 3 ambulances will be fully staffed with full-time people. The contract labor will be, we try and hire some part-time people so we can keep somebody up north, keep somebody down south, do some of our relief work and not rely on overtime.
Yeah, and then one of the other big items and that I'll get to, so it kind of goes along with that is the extra duty. So before you get to this fully staffed environment, your full-timers are working extra duty. Obviously extra duty, it's at a higher rate. So that's one thing that I didn't budget enough for in 2025. So that's one of the things. So I was going to give you some math here so you don't have to rack your brain on it. If you take all the salaries, part-time contract, and all the fringe benefits, besides the insurance, or just the salary stuff, you budgeted a total of 4.110, so 4.1 million, coming in about 429, estimated through 2025. So that's about 184,000 overage, and I can go ahead and tell you that the extra duty itself, I had budgeted 450. I think we were somewhere in the 600 range, so I budgeted too low, just not knowing what kind of beast it is to try to guess on firemen and that shift schedule and the extra duty, and especially for a full year, not fully staffed at the time when you do the budget. So I feel much more comfortable with the 2026 numbers since we have the 39 filled positions, especially the ones coming out of the academy. So it should be a more consistent showing on the expense side for the salaries and benefits. Quickly note that the retirements, they're still at 33.25% employer portion that we have to pay. You got your insurances that with the 10% increase built in. Again, I'm not going to hit on just some of the increases or any anomalies as far as the expenses, so I'm just kind of go down through here. Real quick, the ad dues and subscriptions. We increased this by 8,000. Reason being, we added vehicle trackers to all of our all their units there. We have it on our end as far as the council, and it's been a great tool to have. Always know where a vehicle is if there's ever any issues that come about. I'll move down to about midway through the page. You have your miscellaneous contractual service. Hose testing, that's what this is. It was getting coded there, and we had just in the past never had any line item budget there, so I put the 14,000 to account for the hose testing, because that's going to be a year-over-year thing. Saw some increases definitely in your insurance, your general liability, vehicle, and building insurances. You budgeted 255, came in at 288. So bumped that number up to 290. Same thing with workers' comp, 160, came in at 243, so bumped that number up. So there's some large increases you see there. Professional fees, so budgeted 30, came in at 118. So the EMS billing, Insight is the company we use as far as our billing. Part of their contract is 8% of collections. That's what pays for their professional fees. I had assumed back when we started this, they were just going to take that off the remittance payment, but obviously that's not how it works. It makes a lot more sense this way because insurance pay us directly. That way it can be reconciled for each service. So that's why you see that. That's why you see that number go up. So I basically took 8% of the 1.4 at the top. That number, plus we have a little built-in amount for hydrant testing is the other thing. Laboratory testing, that's drug testing, that number got increased. Obviously we have more employees, so that number increases. Vehicle and equipment repair parts, so you see budgeted 150, came in at 350. We had a rough year as far as the maintenance needed, especially for some of our older units. I just kind of jotted down a few of the large expenses. You had $6,000 for ladder number 6, the $5,000 for engine 51, $60,000 for an engine repair, $6,000 on some fire gear maintenance, $14,000 for maintenance on one of the vehicles. You had an annual inspection of $15,000, $17,000 for ladder number 31. So obviously these are some large pieces of equipment, large vehicles, so it's not cheap to.
What did we do for $60,000?
It was an engine repair of. I didn't write down exactly which.
Was
yeah,
it new ladder?
It's either.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's.
3 or 4 of those in there.
I don't remember exactly which engine.
That was engine 31, which is about 9 years old, 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. How old is it?
Revamp the whole thing?
Yeah.
Just revamped the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a new one. I mean.
$900,000 new truck.
I got you.
Yeah. That's,
I'm thinking engine repair, it's for the motor.
no, I'm thinking.
I'm
Yeah,
talking about the unit.
Fire engine.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's
Call it a
a
truck.
motor.
Fire truck.
I got it.
Yep.
Repair.
yeah, sorry, fire. Yeah. Well, one of the big
I
ones.
got it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's say a fire engine, man. I think we're putting 60 grand in a motor.
So you got your operational supplies, like right under that. The budget of 43 came in at 75, bumping that number up to 80. I mean, obviously, again, more firemen. We got to equip them with the supplies they need. So that's where you see that number go up. Vehicle expense, same thing. Budget 85, coming in at 102. We got some more vehicles. Obviously, the equipment. I mean, the EMS, the ambulances. Those are all over the parish. So obviously, they're going to burn more fuel. So that's where that gas expense got increased. Travel and training. So you see me actually bump this number down. Again, I'm going to touch on it in a few funds later. 90,000 budgeted, coming at 55. It's because we're funding our EMS training out of the opioid fund. It's one of the allowable expenses. So that's, instead of that 72,000 transfer up at the top that you saw I didn't do, everything just got spent out of the opioid fund directly. So that's where you see some savings. And then you got your audit expense. So just real quick, kind of in summary, looking at your operating revenue to operating expenses, and this is why I have it broken out like this. You can see that before you get to the capital outlay. Coming in at 6.3 estimated for 2025. That is a negative 6,282, so essentially break even. I mean, that includes that crazy year for vehicle repairs. It also includes your workers' comp and insurance increases. So pretty break-even year there, and then we're budgeting 84,000 revenue over operating expenses, as it stands right there. And then moving on to their capital outlay disbursements. So you got your HQ station renovations with Addis. Wasn't able to get to all of that, so we're going to roll 100,000 over. Station 31 roof, we are going to get to that. Got the quotes back. It's actually going to come in a little higher than that 80. I believe it's 90,000 for that. So I'll update that to put in the new books. Station 9 startup, that's the new station. So got 100,000 budget to help furnish that. It's that Irwinville, the one on the corner in Irwinville. Vehicle purchases at 214. That's that payment for the new vehicle, the new fire engine, the big one that they bought. This goes directly to the general fund because it was originally funded out of there. with an agreement of 7 installments. 2029 will be the last payment for that. And then you have all your equipment. You see it highlighted down below what makes up that orange highlight there: computers, communications, being radios, and a large bulk of it being the ambulance power load stretchers. And then you have software. So one being a website header, it's an update to their website layout. That's a small expense. The bigger one would be the EMS/fire software. It's a company, ESO, I believe it's called. But that handles all of our reporting and scheduling for the fire department specifically. And then you have again, you saw this in utilities, transfer to general fund for the IT budget. That's just their share based off of the agreed upon percentages, excuse me. So looking at your fund balance, you decreased in estimated 2025 because you had $804,000 of capital outlay. So that's how we want to decrease our fund balances. Like I said, the operating estimated was essentially break even at $6,000 negative, and then going into 2026, you got $758,000 decrease with $843,000 of capital outlay. So again, using your fund balance to make some capital improvements.
Do we think moving forward our capital outlay would be around the $800,000 number, or more closer to the $400,000 number?
Well, if you, we'll look here in a second. So looking at the future, so your 5 years, so you see, and obviously with the engine repair, the large engine repair that we had to do, you'll see we have some older units. So eventually, I mean, fire trucks aren't cheap, and they're eventually going to have to be replaced at some point. So you can see some of the estimated costs there for 27. And again, I'm not saying this is set in stone, going to happen in 2027 for next year's budget, but you got $950,000 for that. One of the big ladder trucks, you can see those are running for about $2.2 million. So to answer your question, I don't think it'll.
I mean, surely that's financed over time, kind of like the current budget is, right? Where you've got.
So it depends. I would say that is taken into account at budget time. So do we want to spend, let's say that'd be what, half of the fund balance? More than half of the fund balance on $2.2 million, or do we want to finance it like we're doing the one right now, where the general fund pays and they refund us, or do we actually want to take out a finance loan? Those are the decisions to be made each budget year. How do you spend that capital outlay, or your fund balance on that capital outlay?
It's an aggressive capital outlay with the funds with the fund that we have, for sure.
Yeah, but this.
We will continue to look at other funding.
Of course, we're.
Yeah,
that's true.
Grants. So like we got the $1.5 million to start up the EMS. That's something always to
keep up the good work, Butch. We're gonna need that money, man.
So the 214 that we're paying back to general fund from the previous, we're about halfway through that.
Yeah, 2029 will be the last payment. Yeah, 7-year agreement. We base that off of, most likely we would have to finance a 7-year loan. Luckily, this one's no interest. So,
just in time for a $2.2 million.
Jeez.
All right, looking at your so fire state surplus again. This is the where we originally had funded the $1.5 million to start the EMS service. All those have been expensed and fully reimbursed by the state, and now this is also where we're going to spend the money for the new fire station. So that's where you see that it's estimated about $4 million. We are responsible for 25%, I believe is the percent number. Comes out to $1 million of ours, which you'll see that match money. You saw this last year at those two $500,000 revenues, one from the lighting/outlay fund, and then one from the jail fund, where the sheriff agreed to pay some of the match from that fund. And just a real quick note, it looks funky here, but it'll be adjusted in your books. That middle column, the current budget, there was a formula issue where it wasn't picking up some of the revenues. You see the $1.1 million ending fund balance negative. That's not the case. it ended a negative $8,340 because I was waiting on reimbursement from the state. It's a fully reimbursed fund, so we expend and then we request for reimbursement. All right, health unit. Okay, So health unit, they are rolled back 1 mil again for 2026, so they're gonna collect 0.75 of the 740 we are estimating that a mill would generate in actual money that we get sent to us, so that brings it to 555,000.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mike.
They are also funded by WIC funding, which is, I said the other night that self-funded may be one of the best financial decisions we've ever made, but this also was when we took over this WIC funding. Gives us another extra revenue source that we didn't previously have, and allows us to roll back this fund when we can, when it's feasible. And you have state revenue sharing for 11,000, and their interest income of about 82, so bumping that number up just a little bit. So you got budgeted 800,081, coming about 800,094, budgeting to 871,000, and that's with the mill rolled back. Oh, getting parched. All right, looking at their, huh?
Yeah, you feeling all right?
I'm good. I'm good. All right, regular salaries, you got 8 employees here, budgeted 475,000, coming in at 468. If you recall, we had budgeted a 5% increase. We went with a 4% increase, so that's natural. This is a small fund where you can see that play out, because they were fully staffed the entire time, with 1 part-timer. And then you have your related fringe benefits. There, the retirement and the insurance, which again has the 10% increase built into it that we are budgeting, bumping down the as dues and subscription from 3,000 to 1,500. Just based off the last couple of years, we didn't have to spend nearly as much. Electricity, same thing, budgeted 20, came in at almost 12,000, so putting that at 13. The 2,000 from the previous year, there was a credit from an error on a meter, so that's why that one's 2,000. And then we jump up to 11,000, so it's a little misleading. That 2,800. All right, contracted workers, so about midway down, at 60,000 going to 45,000. So that's for a medical director, PA, or nutritionist. We spent about 32,000. We budgeted 6,000 for many years, but as you can see, in 24 it was 27. This year 32. So we're going to go ahead and bring that down. Liability insurance came in at 16,000. So bumping that number down. Let's see, medical insurance. This is another one that just continues to go up. 55. They get allocated a portion of it, so that's why it's exactly 55, but this is going to continue to increase. There's really one player in the game that will offer this medical insurance to us. This medical insurance also covers our coroner's office and the jail. Medical malpractice insurance, and it seems to go up 20 to 40,000 every year. I've asked them to find other quotes, other people, and they can't. This is medical, so drugs and vaccines, bumping that up 13. Let's see, improvements to buildings, going to go ahead and try to spend all that 35,000. That's just upgrades to, I know they're doing the floors, and some painting. I know Mary's adding some upgrades that they've requested, and she can probably explain that better than I can. Budgeting 9,000 for next year. Cell phone boosters for the building. You're going to see that on a couple budgets. We have some real issues with service in some of our buildings. Acquisition equipment, got 12,300 in there for desk chairs, computers, digital signage, whatever Mary and them may need. Little number there. And then the substance abuse grant. This is a monthly amount, pretty flat. Comes in at the 87,000, so we're bumping that number down actually a little bit. All right, so you're decreasing your fund balance from 1,000,006 to 1,000,004. That's with a mill rolled back. So good fund balance here.
Thank you.
All right. Jail. All right. So again, this is our jail budget, detention center. It's operated by the sheriff's office. The funding is sales tax, so it comes through us. We handle all the accounting, but we work hand in hand with the jail as far as working on this budget. Estimating about $5,000,004 for the sales tax, think it actually may come in a little less. Again, I mentioned we're gonna be right on the edge as far as whether we're under, at, or slightly over sales tax, just based off last collections. Bumping our state housing revenue down a little bit. We're bumping our U.S. Marshal number up. You can see we budgeted 1.5, and we're coming in about 1.9. Increased in the housing, and I believe they even increased the rate that they pay us for Fed housing income. See, inmate food reimbursement for the sheriff. This is a new item. 271,000, budget 296 for next year. You'll see, I'm gonna get to the food expense, what brought this about. So I'll explain that there in a little bit. And then your interest earnings, they're another one who got some great benefit from some new CD rates. They used to be really low on a few of them. We were locked in for multiple years. They came up for maturement, and we got better rates. So that's why you see that. And they had some large investments into those CDs.
Quickly, if you call your attention to, if you look back at the jail, half cent sales tax, same half cent sales tax as the fire department.
About a big difference. About 800,000-900,000.
Yep, and in total, so you're budgeting about 8.9 million for revenue, operating revenue for the jail. All right, so the first set of expenses, priority 1, building operations and maintenance. Here you got your 2 salaries, 2 employee salaries and their overtime. The 134 budgeted coming in at 109. It's 2 things. One, there was too much overtime budgeted. I had increased it because we were seeing some overtime, mainly because we only had 1 guy instead of 2, so it decreased that by putting that second guy out there. And it also wasn't filled until a little bit into the year. Your related fringe benefits there, Medicare retirement insurance, budgeted 21, coming in at 12. This is just a coding thing, so that original budget 25 includes retirees. They actually get coded elsewhere in this fund. So this 12,000 and then the 13 for 26 should be accurate. Is accurate for just those 2 employees and their fringe or their insurance. Excuse me. Let's see. Got your electricity expense increase in that to 215 based off of what we're looking at in 25. Bringing the natural gas expense down, bringing the telephone expense down, contractual maintenance, bumping that number up. You can see in 24 and 25, kind of a little increase there. Professional services, hospital security, bumping that number down. You can see the last couple of years we're at 52, this year 81. So we're going to bring that number down a little bit. Still comfortable with it though. Materials for building and grounds coming in at 50. Last year 45, excuse me. So we're bringing it up to that 45. So small increase here on this first priority, building operation and maintenance, going from 863 to 870. And we came in a little under budget. All right, capital outlay. This will be different from the books you'd originally were given, because I had originally included that scanner in 25, but as you remember, I had y'all deny that the other night, so it got moved to 26, as I said I would do. So just kind of go through these. That the camera project, the big one you see there, the 400,000, 800,000. You just approved those bids the other day, and I had mentioned then it had come in. I think I mentioned it came in a little over budget. We're able to buy some stuff in house through state contract and then bid out a portion of it. But from the original budget amount, that if you remember, we budgeted this like 2 years ago. The scope increased a little bit. The cameras, we needed more cameras than we originally thought we needed, and then the natural price increase over those years. So that's why you see that coming in over. But that's what that is. That's that camera project and the intercom replacement. That was also added. If you remember, it was from the original construction of the jail. It's the thing we didn't realize needed to be replaced until it kind of got in there with the into that project. 500,000. We had sent that to the State Capital Outlay Fund. You see all the expenses we had for what we budgeted in 25. We're looking at 26, so just kind of run through a couple of them. Parking lot, perimeter lighting, electrical upgrades, processing center, painting dorms and isolation rooms, at 325. This is, again, Jeff had, got with us on this. It's desperately needs to be repainted. It's a really large portion. I mean, it's bars, walls, ceilings, for the 325. Metalwork and painting exterior, 5,000. Looking down to your equipment purchases, transfer switch, not gonna do that this year, gonna roll that to next year. Same with the electronic medical record software. This is something that was originally requested, I think also maybe 2 years ago. They just haven't landed on they've done some demos in some companies and haven't landed on one. So hopefully the new warden that's coming in can look at this and see if it's something that he still wants to tackle. I think he does. Then so the full body x-ray, so that's that 226. That's what I had you deny the other day, moved it to 2026. Let's see. Cleaning machine, welder upgrade, 2 portable boilers for 60, food carts for 35. Just kind of going through our 26 requests. Processing shaft 400 amp switch, 11,000. So in total, looking at your capital outlay, budgeted 2 million, spending about 1.1. Obviously, we're rolling some of the bigger ones, and then budgeting about 2,083,000. So an increase of a little over 7,000 for your capital outlay.
Chance,
Yes,
do you know what type of electronic software they're going to use in medical?
I do not. I'm
So
not
you don't
sure
know what
what
system
their
they're using?
requirements are. I don't know for having like inmates and whatnot, if there's special requirements. No, I'm not familiar.
Okay.
Now, Sheriff's office, who is the medical director for the jail, to make decisions. I think it's him and the ward to determine exactly
What they're using?
What they're doing.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. And then also right below this, they have a small share of the transfer to general fund for the IT budget. So looking down, let's see, increasing your office equipment rentals, or sorry, decreasing to 10,000, decrease in your consumables, decrease in your small tools, so an overall decrease as you go through all those from 223 to 165, just again, based on looking at 24, 25, felt comfortable bringing some of those numbers down. So this is where I mentioned the retirees. This is where their insurance gets coded right here. So you budgeted 7,844, coming in at 8,424, excuse me, and then with the increase. Bringing up the medical insurance, I mentioned this just now in health units. This is their portion of it. You can see 110. They're getting a majority of the premium here at the 122. So we're bumping up to 125. The 77,000 professional fees medical. That's a contract with Paget as the doctor for the jail. The office supplies, bringing that number down. Let's see, housing, so feeding and maintenance of inmates, the housing of female inmates, you'll see that number, we had it at 269 and 24, budgeted 225, it's actually coming in at 115, so we're bringing that number way down, being that they brought female housing in-house, and you'll see this also for some juvenile stuff as well, but they were able to bring some of that in-house, if not all of it, I believe, so we're not sending money to other jails for that housing, which that stuff can get expensive, which you'll see in the juvenile fund as well. So a little further down, so the food. So I mentioned the money we were getting from the sheriff for some food reimbursement. You'll see we budgeted 400 and coming in at 765, so almost double. That being, the reason being it doubled, we originally had about 310 inmates, and then so Jeff and them wanted to start feeding or paying for the feeding of the work release out of this fund. So that increased by 250, so almost doubling that 310. So that's why you see an almost double increase in the food cost. So 765, so putting that at 775 again, reimbursed, offset a little bit by the money sent from the sheriff. And I believe Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but state rate they use. Yeah, for,
Per reimbursement.
yeah, per inmate, per day, there's an amount. They use that, they send us a list as support for that payment.
So how were they feeding those guys before that were on, work release?
They have through the sheriff fund, or the sheriff's, yeah, different fund. So they just
Okay.
started putting it out of the detention center fund instead of, because they're funded by, property tax, the sheriff's office is, so I assume it was coming from those funds, and they just moved it, because again, this is operated by the sheriff. We just kind of do the accounting, for lack of, that simplifies it, but,
We basically also had two different kitchens and two different feeding, from my understanding from sheriffs, the work release and the jail. You had two different, totally different kitchen staffs. They're been combined now, you have one, and then I think he's actually looking at going forward, not only bigger the sheriff, but he's looking at some other alternatives too.
all right, and then the last little few bit of expenses, no real crazy changes to the expenses here, except for the clothing, bringing that up to 50 based off of the last 2 years. We spent 30, and bringing that number up to 50. It's going to come in actually more about 45,000 in the estimated 25, not the 50, but we're still going to put it at 50 going into next year. This is clothing for all the employees within the jail, and outfitting them. And then you got your operational expenses, salary, reimbursing, submitted to the sheriff or submitted by the sheriff. So we remit this to the sheriff's office. This is for paying the employees within the jail. You have an increase, an overage of the $5,845,000. You had some OT in there for when they had some of the stuff go down with the jail. They brought in some more people to do some shakedowns and whatnot. So there was a little bit of overtime in there for that. And then we just take what we're estimating through for 2025, and then we put that cost of living on there. So that's where you get the $6,078,000. Excuse me. So overall, looking at your jail fund, I always like to go to the operational, because that's a very telling for budgets. So we had budgeted actually a negative 120 operational for 2025. We came in at a positive 362, and by operational I mean operating revenues over operating expenses, and we're budgeting a 31,000, for lack of a better word, surplus. Your revenues being 31,000 over your operating expenses, and you obviously saw the $2,083,000 of capital outlay. So that's where you see that fund balance being used, going from the $8 million to the $6 million, essentially. Any questions on jail? All right, E911. So funding here, you're funded by the landline and wireless surcharges. Pretty much a majority of the funding comes from there. Budgeted 90 for the landline coming in. It's actually gonna be a little closer to 80,000 than that 76. I'm gonna look at it pretty recently, so I think the 80,000 for next year is a good number. And then the wireless surcharge coming in at budgeted 266, coming in at 254, bringing that down to 260, and then the interest earnings bumping that number up just a little bit. So total revenue, not a huge fund of 406,000 budgeted, 400 for 2026. All right, and the disbursements for the 911, you got one employee paid out of here. They had a little bit of overtime, so that's where that 88 is coming in at. It's a budget of the 89,000 for 2026. You have the related fringe benefits here. You got the one retiree also paid out here as well. Their insurance paid out here. Bumping down the telephone service to 30,000. Bumping down the contract payments to 8,000 from that 20. Completely eliminating the building repairs and maintenance, the 2,000. Reason being, this is also goes along with the central communication fund you're about to see. So the building maintenance expenses come out of there, and it's also a leased building. So not a crazy amount of maintenance there having to be done. Office supplies, bringing that number down to 1,000 from the 4,000. And this is simply just looking at what we spent in 24, what we're expecting in 25. And just bringing it down. see if we see a trend, bringing down the travel and the training. They have their audit fee, that's at $2,500. And then you have your equipment purchases, what we're budgeting for 2026. We budgeted $318, but spent about $311. So for some major upgrades. We also have some other big upgrades they're trying to do. You can see them lined. I'm not going to go line through each one, but you can see highlighted there what makes up that 139 and the amounts for each. So that brings you in total budgeted 2026. Slight increase to the fund balance from the $1,294,000 to the $1,333,000, $1,333,000.
So for the 911 call center, we have 1 employee, but then for central communications, we have 14.
Yeah.
So those two have never been merged together?
No, so it's because of the funding sources. So E911 has the landline wireless surcharges, which is it was set back in resolution a long time ago. It's essentially a charge that someone like AT&T puts on a bill.
Say that again.
It's essentially a charge, so like a $1.75 for a landline. I think it's 85 cents for wireless that you would see on that the AT&T would charge, and it gets remitted. So that's that funding source, right? And then you have your central communication, which is funded by a property tax. So it has its, which is much larger than just these. So that's why you see 14 versus 1. I always look at E911, central communication, and a little bit we have in the civil defense and the general fund as one, because I mean they're all working together. Dino's the one in charge of all three. It's simply because of the funding. I wish we could merge them, but I believe I know we're required to have E911 separated in its own fund because of the funding source from the central communication. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Landlines and cell phone is set by the state, not us. They set the rate of what each one of us, citizens pay for that.
Before we get to central communication, you mind if I hit the bathroom real quick? Give me a little bit of water. And then we're almost done. We're almost done.
People didn't even show up. They couldn't come out here and make noise. That was hours.
She didn't make it to the, she didn't make it to the stage.
Oh, okay, so you get to the game.
She got to the tailgate.
So how she doing?
Yeah, you still got y'all a snack.
You know, staying in, I need to go see it, yeah. Now, I want to go.
Yeah, all right.
Got to tell
Chairman
me.
said go, I'm going.
Who I got on the
All right, Central Communication, as you guys know, it's property tax funded, ad valorem tax funded, has 3 mills, we're rolling back 1 mill. So at the 740,000 that we're expecting per mill, that brings you to 1.480. And this is pretty much 100% of the funding for the Central Communication Department, plus a little bit of that interest income at the 160, which we did bump up based off what we performed in 25. Brings you a total revenue of $1,640,000, a little bit down from last year. Again, the mill amount went down, so there's your difference. So salaries, looking at your expenses, you got 14 employees and overtime. That's where that overage, that 861, that's that overtime. They had a lot this year, so I tried to budget bring in a little more. Oh, sorry, guys.
You got a big audience,
Just happened to be looking at my paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I never look
The
at
break threw me off. Yeah, so then you got your related fringe benefits related to those 14 employees, and then the insurance as well with the 10% built-in increase. Same things are staying the same. Small decrease to the electricity, small increase to the phone, the telephone service, phone and internet, building lease, same thing. Small increase to that. Let's see. Okay, moving down, you got your professional fees, bumping that number down. That 35 was from a cloud migration that didn't have to be done. Didn't end up having to be done. So we're taking that away. Maintenance of equipment, bringing that number down based off the last couple of years. Still leaving a little bit in there for any maintenance that we may have to do on some of our servers and hardware. Office supplies, bringing that number down 5,000. All the rest pretty much stay the same from 25 to 2026, just based off of how we're running. We're running right around budget on all of those, which brings your total operating disbursements to $1,525,000 budget for 2026, a 1.12% increase from previous year. So pretty in line with the previous year's budgeted operating expenses. And then again, you'll see the highlighted and breakdown of what makes up that number for your equipment purchases, the $291,500, and then under that's their share of the IT cost share. So overall, decrease in your fund balance from $3 million to $2,899,000, so essentially $2.9 million, and you got about $313,000 of capital outlay. And again, that's with a mill rolled back on that fund. All right, some of the small ones, you got community alert. This is the alert system that we have.
Thank you.
We bill some of the cities, bill some of the plants around to reimburse the contract we pay. You'll see again, this happened 3 years ago. Our 3-year contract is coming up. So we spend 32, and again, that's lasted for 3 years, and we recoup that money. So that's why you see that -16. It's because we have to pay 3 years at a time, then we just bill for the expenses over the 3 years. LEPC grants. So again, this is kind of through Dino's office and them. The big ones being the SHISHUP and EMPG. They basically apply for a grant, send them exactly what they want. It's almost, it is to the penny. They don't just send a blanket amount. They send exactly what equipment or whatever they're doing, and then you get reimbursed. Usually there's a delay of a year to two, depending on how long it takes for the state to reimburse the project. So you'll see over there in 2026, those are the amounts that we're budgeting for those years for LEPC, SHISHIP, and EMPG. Okay. Opioid. All right, so looking at your opioid, first things first, so the revenue that we were expecting, so budget 101, it was expecting 58,000, and reason being, so this comes from a chart that we originally got back from when the settlement became a thing, and it shows West Baton Rouge Parish, and it shows years and the amounts, and that's the year, that's how I base it off of that. Well, we got our payment in the other day, and it was 212,000, not 100, not 58, 212. That was about a week ago. So you'll see that reflected on the new ones that I give you guys when it comes to that time. So obviously with the increase there, your revenues are going to be higher for estimated 2025.
And that's because there's additional settlements going on with additional settlement dates.
That was from the Attorney General's office, right, Jason?
Attorney General's one
Right,
of the
yeah.
everything. 80% usually goes to parish government, 20%
Right.
goes to the sheriff's department.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and so I'm going to reach out to the AG and see if they've settled on a final payment schedule, for lack of a better word, so we can kind of better predict our revenues through the next 18 years, or I guess probably 16 years now, so we can budget better.
Actually, 2 weeks ago, they given him the latest schedule that I got, which is exactly what he was.
Yeah, it's, so I was using that schedule to update this, but it ended up not being the right one. And then you'll see our expenses. I mentioned it back on the fire side, but this is what we're paying for the original furnishing of all the EMS, the ambulances, the medical supplies, and then also some of the reoccurring, and we got to refill some of that. So that's that 148,000. Gonna put 150 for next year. I doubt we'll have to spend 150 because it's more of a replacement thing, not a full furnishing. But we have the funds here from the opioid. It's kind of earmarked for that, for the EMS, and then the training I had mentioned as well. Paying specifically for EMS because it is a allowable expense under the opioid settlement. Training there, and so that's where that 72,000 that you didn't see go to the fire department go there. One thing I do want to mention, we're going to be looking at. We got a letter today from, I'm gonna butcher this, the district defender, public defender, basically requesting from the 18th JDC, Point Capee, Iberville, us, for you guys / us to allocate some money to go to drug courts to help with some of that, because it's also an allowable expense. So we're going to meet with them, see what kind of numbers they're talking about. And
We said no.
hey, your budget. I just handle it.
There's a lot of things that potentially traditionally be used. The contract services that we use in various health units, there's another potential, because that's what the contract services are for.
Yeah, the substance abuse program that we have.
So that's could be paid out of these opioid dollars.
Yeah, so it's something that just kind of popped up. We're gonna be looking at. So you could see an amendment into 26, but just so you're aware, like I said, we got that letter. Got that letter today. Yeah, training, some more training.
Chance, I had another question, and I don't
Yep.
mean to keep asking questions. So what did the sheriff's department use their funding source for from that settlement?
You'd have to ask Jeff. That goes.
Because I didn't see it in here, I was kind of wondering how it was even earmarked.
It's in their budget.
It's in their budget.
So it'll be in their budget, but we won't see it in this.
No,
Right, no, I don't think we see it as a jail.
we don't have nothing to do with their budget.
Gotcha, yeah, I know, I'm just, gotcha.
Yep.
Let me ask a question about this public defender staff. Don't Tony have some money for that?
No, public defenders is a separate office that we're statutory, he.
I thought some of his money went supposed to help with public defender.
He got like $8 million.
Yeah, way more than he asked for.
What did he like $8 million?
I know.
What was his sales tax? How much it was gonna bring in? Wasn't it like $8 million?
It was a quarter-cent sales tax, so do half.
No, it wouldn't be
No,
8.
it would,
He got a buck.
Wouldn't be
He
8.
got way more than he said he would get.
Yeah,
So a half gave you how much?
Say that?
A half wasn't a half 5 million, like 5 million?
Like 5 million?
Yeah, our two half, well, sorry, jails half cent sales tax, collects
A full
like
half.
5 point.
Not the,
Two,
not the
right?
fire district had, the jail.
Yeah, the jail, yeah.
So
The
it's
jail
like
is
5
a
million,
different from another one.
5.4,
Yeah, about 5, a little over 5 million.
so he got half of that,
Two
2.5. Yeah, I don't know where I got 8 from.
Did you get us any money back?
That's West River.
That's where you get that 800,000.
What's that?
Did you give us some money back?
No, so
Yeah, I
we
mean,
no longer fund the DA out of,
I thought you were supposed to give us some
So
back.
that we get that.
Oh, at the end of 10 years.
Basic, I guess is what it's saying, gives back to her, not paid,
Yeah,
which we're contractually obligated to pay.
that was 800,000.
I'm not taking up for it, I'm just saying he passed it, so we nothing to do about it.
What is the
No, we
LPR?
just, you're right.
That's right.
so
right,
from
but
my
the other
understanding
parishes
it
did.
is the
That's right.
settlement,
I remember that.
they sued a bunch
That's
of
right.
pharmacy
I don't know what happened
companies.
with
The states did,
I saw it.
class action
I saw
lawsuit,
it.
settled for billions of dollars, to like
60 again.
all
I know.
pharmaceutical companies, and then
saw
so if you participated in the original settlement, which is always doing is saying we want to participate, you get a percentage. I think they base it on population.
Never
Right?
So
invest
many years.
money in jails, and, I mean, I hate to say that, but you have to fund it, you have to, and you have to have services there that can make a difference if somebody's willing to go through it, you know?
East
Just
Baton Rouge
can't
might
throw
have 3
people
million
away.
or something like that. They got a way.
We're all entitled to a second chance, guys, I mean, all of us, God gives us a chance every day, you know?
All right, so we got
It's exciting.
real quick. So with the edit to the revenue, you actually finished instead of that 132, you finished with roughly 286,000 in fund balance, and then with the requested for 2026, you finished with 168, roughly 1,000 for the ending fund balance for 2026 budget. Okay, American Rescue Plan Act. This is all done, so you won't have anything in 2026. I got it shown in utilities. We spent the remaining principal, whatever interest we accrued, sent to them since they're paying the rest of the water well costs.
So is this the last year we're gonna cover this?
Yes,
It's got
so
zero
it,
balance?
yeah, it won't be. I always leave it on to show the 0 and 26.
One less, Michelle. Check.
Okay, juvenile detention, it's only really funded by the interest. It used to be a property tax back in the day. We moved some of the juveniles, the ones that we legally can keep, in-house, so that's why you see that 134. We're no longer paying the whatever the rate was for the beds we were saving at a juvenile center. So we only send the ones out that we absolutely have to, because we can't legally keep them. Which I forget the ages and all that stuff. I don't know, you'd have to ask Jeff. Yeah, criminal court fund. Criminal court fund, this is, really is controlled by the judges and the DAs. This is money funded, the court cost is funded from, settlements on criminal cases. You see that 644,000 that we got in 25. There was one payment, which was a settlement from 2 cases that we got 344,000 of 20% of the settlement. Very rare that happens. It's usually pretty consistently around the 300,000 range, as you can see from 24. So that's where that number is, and that's why it's staying at 300. Because again, it's a kind of a one-time
So
thing.
we have no control over this,
No, so they have to request it. But
if you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, we have no control. One, it's funded by criminal cases and settlements from that. It's not a tax or anything like that. And 2, it's controlled by the judges and the DAs. We are working with the judge. We met with Lurie, and she's looking into it because there's certain things you can and cannot spend this money off on. So she's looking into some of the allowable expenses to spend some of that. So.
Again, the only thing we would be potentially at the end of the year, half of the fund balance would be that could come to the parish, but what we've always decided is leaving the money in the criminal court fund. Because in the past, we've actually had to subsidize.
Right.
Yeah, legally half of it is ours, but we've always kept it.
Yeah.
commodities, so this is our community action office over there. This is federal program, so right now with the shutdown, it's actually halted. We reached the end of our contract and waiting on a new one, so we're just kind of in limbo with this. We aren't able to do any of the assistance programs through this that we normally would be able to. So again, just kind of waiting on the shutdown to finish. So I just took 25's estimated and put that into 26 essentially.
So this
to-
don't have anything to do with the food pantry?
No.
or anything?
No, this is community action. They do some utility assistance, some rental assistance,
Okay.
and then all the rest of the stuff is just the cost to maintain the office. But again, it's a federal program. We just sign a contract, get the money we can reimbursed, and it's on hold right now. Section 8, another federal program. For some reason, this one's not shut down. I don't know why. We have a third-party Raymond Roberto Masada Associates. They administer this. We get some Fed dollars. Macedo. Masada was our old insurance broker. And then we get some money sent from the Fed. We got it in October, early October. We'll see if we continue to get it in early November. LAHEAP, another program shutdown, kind of has put a halt to for now. And it's, again, these are contract ones that we sign with these programs for certain amounts. But it's low income energy assistance program. That's what that is. Okay, so the rest, real quick, I'm gonna do for the video. Got all of our sewer bonds. This one goes away. We are done paying that one. We got this one. Here's your expenses. You have 470,000 left in that as of 25. There's the reserve fund for that. Here's another one. You got 754,000 left in. There's your principal and interest payments for 26. This is all based on the schedule. And there's the reserve fund set up for that one. That's day one.
Adjourn.
Yep.
Adjourn.
I think it was the first time I've done this budget week when I've been practice. After 10 years. What's that? One of the first times I was in Philip at the budget meeting. 10 years. 10 years.
Ah.
I was hoping they would be here.